Hi, my name is BunnyFuFuu from Cloud9, and this is my champion guide to Tahm Kench. So the best thing about Tahm Kench is you can pick him whenever you want. He works in almost every team comp. And the best part about Tahm Kench is you can save your allies whenever they get in bad situations or hard CC'd by like a Lissandra ult or Poppy knocks him into the wall, something like that. So just pick him whenever you want and try to master the champion, and it's one you can pull out whenever you want. So with Tahm Kench, when you're doing Gromp and Krugs, it sounds small, but it actually can make the difference in winning a game and losing a game in the high level of play, which seems crazy, but it's actually true. Whenever you're doing Gromp with him, throw him towards the lane so you can get to lane faster to pick up the EXP, and hopefully it'll help with the RNG side of things, because you'll most likely be able to get all three melees. And with Krugs, eat the big one and then hold it for a little, attack the mini one, and then throw it into the mini one, kill the mini one, then finish the big, then walk to lane. So there's a couple of key factors you want to know about laning with Tahm Kench. A few of them being you don't really want to trade much before 3, just because after 3 the E regeneration is going to be so beneficial to you in the trades. And I would only honestly trade before level 3 if you're going to hit a power spike before them. So let's say you're going to hit level 2 before them, you can walk up, get some autos off, hopefully stun them or eat them, and you'll win the trade off that. And the other major thing that you need to keep in mind is, let's say you're playing against a Nautilus or Thresh or Alistair. It sounds kind of weird, but honestly, let your AD carry be the one in danger, and then just eat him out of the danger. So let's say Thresh hooks, have your AD tank the hook, and then eat your AD and then run away, rather than you eating it, taking a bunch of free damage, and then you lose the trade. So just keep that in mind, and it honestly applies to everything. So have your, let's say you don't have River warded, have him be on the dangerous side. So let's say you get ganked, make them focus him, eat him, run away, etc. So for team fight, honestly, Tahm Kench is probably one of the most impactful team fighters as support. Sadly, his ult doesn't have that much of an impact, but the crazy thing is the ability to kite around in a team fight with your Q, pressure with autos, and the biggest thing would be analyze the enemy team, realize what CC they have, and try to save your carries from them. So let's say they have a Lissandra who's looking to E over the wall, ult, flash, W, everything on a carry. Be ready, save your W, be patient to eat him out of the CC and replace him into a good position. So pretend you're the AD carry, run around, just know that while you're eating your carry, he's not dealing damage. So try to spit him out as quickly as possible to get him back out there. The main thing is just getting him out of the initial danger of the crowd control that the enemy provided. Also in teamfights regarding your E, be careful if they have hard CC. Make sure you don't use your E too late, just because they can burst you down without you having a chance to E. So keep that in mind. If it's so bad that it keeps happening, either E a lot faster or get some tenacity through the pot or merc tread. But that's always something to keep in mind as well. Some tips on Tahm Kench would be 2 things that come to mind right away. One being just try to soak as much damage as possible. Just be a little careful on not getting your E off and then bursting you. And also, don't eat your ally right away. Be open to eating your enemy for damage if you can. Just keep in mind, you'll get a better feel for it the more you play. Generally, during the laning phase, you're going to be wanting to eat the enemy more, and during team fights, you're going to be wanting to eat your allies more. I spoke about this earlier, but it sounds a little weird, but it's honestly really beneficial. Let's say a Thresh is trying to hook either you or your AD carry. Let your ally tank it and then eat them and then run away, rather than you tanking it and getting damaged. So for Tahm Kench, I like to run 3 attack speed marks with 6 armor marks, and then all flat HP yellows, all flat MR blues, and then 2 armor quints and 1 move speed quint. I feel like these runes really all come together really well just for his kit in particular, because if you can get 1 extra auto on the enemy or get to your ally that much faster to W him and run away faster to save him, it just honestly comes together really well, and you're getting the most efficiency out of these runes particularly. So for masteries on Tahm Kench, I like to run 0, 12, 18. And there are some masteries you can mess around with in the resolve tree, which would be Explorer. If you have a obviously winning lane, you won't take many autos, and you can maybe roam mid, draw some pressure there if you have a winning match at mid as well. And you can also mess with, if you want to get some super regeneration going, with your preservation and your E, but that one I don't really recommend. And one other main one that you can mess with would be swiftness, because the benefits from these are, let's say you eat an enemy and the huge slow is on you, it'll reduce a lot of that as well. But I would really only use it if they have a heavy CC enemy team comp. I've been fooling around with Grasp of Undying, but the safer route is definitely Bond of Stone. But again, feel free to mess around with some in the resolve tree. It's almost personal preference, but this page is definitely the safest. So this is the skilled order for Tahm Kench. 1 through 3 would be start with W if you're going to be doing double golems or grump, just because it's really good when you do those camps. But if you're leashing for your jungler, start with Q, give them a couple autos, maybe a Q, and then head to lane and start harassing with it. So let's say you do a camp, your skill order would be W, Q, then E, and then max Q, max W, and max E, and of course leveling ult whenever you can. So for starting items on Tahm Kench, you're always going to want to run the Warding Totem Trinket, Relic Shield, and 3 health pots. This first item build is most likely the most general one you can possibly run. It's more of a team-oriented type build. The other ones we'll get to later are more solo queue style. You're always safe going this build. It's definitely a good one, so you don't have anything to worry about if you run this almost every game. That's pretty much what I do. Sometimes if I want to have fun, or if they're heavy on AD and MR, we'll switch it up a bit, but this is generally the one you want to do the most. This build is more of a armor build. So if enemies have a lot of AD or even all AD, I would most likely always go this build. Even if they have a little magic damage, you still want to get a locket, just because, like, let's say for example your other tanks on your team can build all armor and you can provide some MR to them. Then obviously after the locket you would build straight armor from then on out, and it's going to look generally like this. You can always mix it up a little with some of the items like Thornmail or Randuins if they have a lot of crit, etc. But just make sure you have the general grasp of this. This is a more magic resist type build. Obviously Locket's a really good item, and then you can mess around with Spirit Visage and Banshees. I like Spirit Visage just because if you take a bunch of damage from your E, you can heal up crazy amount by just the Spirit Visage passive with Tahm. But feel free to mess around with other MR items. I feel like Tahm is one of the champions where you can be even more flexible with items. So yeah, just feel free to mess around, see what you like. If you're the type of guy who takes a bunch of damage from his E, wants to regen back up, Spirit Visage is probably the item for you. If you're the type of guy that'll get blitz hook and lose your team the game, you might want a Banshee's Veil just to stop the abilities that will catch you off guard. Feel free to mess around with it, and it'll probably help you grow as a player as well. Also, keep in mind, the two most important items that you're going to buy are your boots and your Sightstone. So make sure you complete those before you finish anything else. And also, I threw pink wards in every build just because you want to be spam buying them. And or upgrade to Sweeping Lens once you get your Sightstone, and then upgrade to Scanner once you hit level 9, obviously, whenever you base. And then, again, just try to be flexible with it. Try new things. Throw in some Thornmails, throw in some Randuins. Practice actives, treat them like other abilities, because you'll find you'll win a lot more games once you do that. Hey guys, today we went over some basics on Tahm Kench, but we also went pretty in depth as well. Remember, you can honestly pick Tahm Kench whenever you want. He's always a good pick, so I recommend mastering him. Thanks for watching my guide, and make sure you check out the rest of the guides over at lawclass.com.